ultimate crypto portfolio for 2024. 10 tokens with entry points. Welcome back, my name is Stan, I'm the CEO and co-founder of an international custom software development company. We build products for the city of New York, SAP and General Electric. I've done more than $15 million in custom software sales, and on this channel I'm sharing my journey on turning $500,000 into 10 million using crypto. In this video, I will show you 10 tokens, 10 projects that you can get on the market today for 10 to 25x for the whole portfolio by the end of 2024 and 2025. You know I'm a degen, we won't have things like BTC, Ethereum, we don't need these projects. We are in the crypto to get gains, and I will be showing the portfolio with which you can make money, real money that you come for in crypto. So here's the spreadsheet that I've prepared from my end. We have the potential of the token, which is either 100x, 50x, 25x or 10x. So I don't have tokens here that I believe will do less than 10x. And this is the way how I'm structuring my portfolio as well. Because I invest in crypto accepting the risks that this market has. And I also plan to take out of the market much more than I invest into the market. Understanding the risks and sitting with the red portfolio on the negative days, negative months, negative years. I understand the projects, I understand DCA in, I understand the market, and here is what I want to do, what I want to take out of this market as well. Then we have the name of the token, name of the project, percentage, which means allocation of the portfolio that I would suggest to put out of this portfolio, and narrative of the token, why I essentially picked this token as well. On top of that, I will give you 3 entry points for each token, where to enter the token and where to DCA in as well. So you would even be able just to put the orders on the exchange and forget about the whole thing, because this is the best thing you can do once you have your orders and once you have your crypto. All of my mistakes, this small bull cycle so far, are connected with the fact of me selling the tokens and losing on the gains after I essentially sold. So let's start with the first one. The first one is ICP. So if you would check out ICP, I think it's the largest market cap token that I would be showing in this overview. And we see that it had all-time highs at $428 per token. I don't think we might be reaching essentially somewhere like that at this stage. However, we see that it was kind of consolidating around $3, $4, $5, and it recently just surged from like $3 to 15. So it's a 5x on a large market cap token, because it was at around a 1 billion market cap as well. Why I like this token is because they essentially want to integrate and be Amazon Web Services for Web3 world. And if you would check Web2 products that are present on the market, a lot of them, they are developed on Amazon Web Services currently. And even NFTs like Bored Ape Yacht Club, they are being stored on the server on Amazon Web Services. So it's a pretty bullish narrative by itself. And we have this DePIN narrative as well, which stands for decentralized infrastructure, which is huge by itself. We have the token called Render connected with this narrative as well. And you can think of this narrative as each participant of the network sharing a part of his hardware power to make sure that the network is more stable, more secure, and certain operations can be performed on the network as well. So in terms of the entrance points, we had a bit of the correction here already. So in terms of the entrances, all of them, they essentially to enter a bit of chunk of this money now, then enter a bit more on the better correction, and then leave a chunk of money as well if we would see the whole market correcting significantly. And I do think that the correction like this might happen over the course of the upcoming year. We can't just go up only all the time. So I do think that we might see a correction like this as well. In terms of the percentage of the portfolio, so this is the showcase for a $10,000 portfolio. And I would put 10% of this portfolio into ICP. And I do think that it has a 10x potential from here. However, 10x is basically the lowest potential on this spreadsheet. So in terms of all these tokens, I see this as one of the lowest potentials in terms of the growth on the market because it's quite high at this stage. However, if you would be able to buy at these entrances, your average should be around $6 to $7. Maybe you would decide to DCA in after that. So from $6 to $7, 10x would be to 60, 70 bucks, which is kind of around 5-7x from the current price. So it would be around 25 billion, 30 billion market cap from here. I think it's definitely doable in the bull market. Next one is Lukso. So Lukso is the layer 1 blockchain. It's a new one in terms of them essentially migrating to their own blockchain. They are a layer 1, they are focused on social fi, and they are focused on the improvement of the user experience, which is huge for crypto as well. And I think is going to be one of the main narrative, improvement of the user experience for the upcoming decade in the whole crypto market. So Lukso surged recently and it's already corrected from 10.11, I think, at the highs to 9.5. So if you would want to get exposure to these tokens, I would be buying for a chunk currently. I have 20% of this portfolio, so 2,000 out of 10,000, they're going into Lukso, as I do believe this token has a huge and high potential in terms of making this 25x, at least 25x from here. However, in order to see these multipliers, you would need to hold. So what I would be doing is buying 30% of this 20%, so 30% of $2,000 of this theoretical portfolio I would be buying now. Then at the correction at the level around 8.3, so around here. And after that, if you would see a huge correction on the market, level 5.6, it's around this resistance level. So I think it's something very, very nice to enter the token as well, and there might be a chance that we would see this type of prices because we are currently pumping up and we should definitely see a correction somewhere soon as well. So I think it has a huge potential, 25x conservative, and again this portfolio to get 10 to 25x on the whole portfolio. So out of this 10k, I would expect to get from $100,000 to $250,000 by the end of 2025, by the end of the bull market. And it's great if you would have the option to have more money and DCA into your current positions and put more capital if we would be seeing a larger correction on the market as well. The next one is Metis. So Metis is quite interesting by itself. It's pumping up currently. Interesting thing about Metis is a layer 2 solution on Ethereum. And it recently just went from $20 to $80, which is a 4x from these numbers, and I think it will do very, very well because they have a bunch of money in the treasury. I think they have more money in the treasury than the market cap of the token at this stage. It's been pumped by several influencers as well, which is quite bullish by itself. I think it might pick up the narrative of layer 1s, layer 2s, and in the bull market, people will definitely be looking for a blockchain for the ecosystem to move to switch to decrease the commissions that they're essentially paying for transactions. So I would be putting 10% into Metis, which is around 400 million market cap at this stage. And I would be doing it in the same chunks. So 1/3 of this 10% I would be putting currently just to have exposure if we will essentially surge. 1/3 I will be putting at 74, which is kind of the lows of this correction. And 1/3 I would be putting if we would be revisiting the $40 level. So somewhere around here, again, if we would see a huge correction on the market, which we would definitely see in the course of the upcoming year, I think there is a chance that we might be seeing these numbers because it would just be a 50% correction for the altcoin from this value. I think it's definitely something that we might be seeing. I'm not sure it's going to happen, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think this is something that we might see. So 10x potential for Metis following the market cap is quite conservative, I would say. I would even want to put it more at 25x, but just to be conservative at this stage, I think it might be a great 10x bet for your crypto holdings as well. Next thing is TRAC. TRAC is the token that I've mentioned on this channel several times already, and this token is kind of like a mutual fund for all BRC20s. They're also doing some things in the connection of DeFi on Bitcoin, which is a very, very bullish narrative by itself. TRAC is an indexing protocol, so it basically helps for all the tokens on BRC20 to function. which is great and very, very interesting by itself. It has done quite a lot this year as well. It was at 24 cents essentially, and right now it's at 4.7. We see a nice correction at this stage. So I would definitely be entering in this case a third of this 12.5% at the current prices, then a third at 3.4. So around this resistance, this correction basically, I think there is a chance that we might be visiting here, and a third of the funds and at 1.7. So that would be essentially around this level, because we had a small resistance at this level as well. And again, if the market would correct, we would also see that these tokens and things like that, they might correct heavily. 1.7 is like 60-70%. So if we would see shift of focus from BRC20s to other narrative, or in general, huge correction on the market, I think we might be revisiting these numbers. And in terms of these tokens, it's very, very important to understand. They would only be able to do this type of multipliers if your entry point is proper, if you have a nice entry point in these tokens. So here, for example, I think the average would be around $2.5, $3. And from that end, it would be like around 50, 60 million market cap, and do 50x for 50, 60 million market cap. That would be around 3 billion, which is quite doable for this token following all the narrative that it has, because it's a chain link for BRC20, for Bitcoin. They fundraised 4.2 million on already. The team is working. They are updating everyone with frequent AMAs. So it's a bullish, very, very bullish thing by itself. Next thing is Render. Render, a lot of people know on. I think it's just a very, very safe bet in terms of getting exposure to AI and decentralized infrastructure play as well. It's kind of connected with the gaming as well, so it's all three narrative in one. I do like these type of tokens because it means that they will run with each narrative, so they are safer from the investment point of view, because in crypto people are trading based on the narrative. In terms of the entry points, so as mentioned, I would be entering 30% of this position currently. We already see a nice correction in terms of this token, so I think it's a very, very nice entry at this stage. It was at the same level a month ago, so it's a very great entry currently. Then I would be adding another 30% of the position at $3. Around this level, we might have a bit of resistance here because we were touching here and touching here. We'll probably be touching it here soon as well. We might be touching it. So it's a great level to DCA into the position as well. And $2.3, which is essentially around this level, I would say it's a safe DCA in terms of this token as well, because we do also have the chart moving through this level a lot of times already, which definitely makes sense if we would see a larger correction on the market. This thing, it might be able to correct lower as well, but I would say these are just very, very safe entries from the correction point of view. I do have a conviction that we should probably see these numbers in terms of this token, so you would be able to DCA in, get your average at around $3, which would be at around billion market cap, and 10x is 30 billion. Once the narrative will pick up on this thing, I think it can surge and it can move forward. Next thing is Illuvium. So Illuvium is basically like a largest gamified play. It's a AAA game. I actually do know the team that is developing art for Illuvium. I got to know them at the end of the last bull cycle, and they were telling me very, very interesting things about the project, which I will not be sharing on this channel as of now. So in terms of the entries, we also have seen a very nice correction on Illuvium recently. So I think at the max it was at $117. Right now we are at $80. So I think it's a great entry to buy into the project currently for the third of this portfolio. Then essentially DCA in at around $64, which is around here. And then essentially DCA more at $40. So $40 is actually about bottom for these tokens. So 64, yeah, it's a nice level because it was at 64 back in April and March and things like that. And $40 is around bottom, but I do think that a lot of gaming tokens, they would essentially correct, and we will definitely not see a gaming run for a full year. We had a pump, we would probably see a correction currently, and then maybe a next pump. And there might be the case that next pump will only come in autumn. So somewhere around September, October, these type of months. So it's quite interesting position. It's quite interesting token to definitely DCA in. And it was showing crazy numbers last cycle. So it was at 1.7k and it's 20x from the lows currently. So that's why I have 25x here. And on top of that, the market cap is 300 million at this stage. So if your average would be $60, your market cap would be somewhere around 220, 230, which will definitely make sense in terms of the 25x once we'd have the bull market and a gaming full bull market, not the thing that we are essentially seeing currently. Next thing is Myria. So Myria is the token of this cycle. It has interesting thing in terms of the lands and things like that. I think a fully diluted valuation for Myria is quite high. So it's 4 or 5 times larger than the current market cap of the tokens that are in the circulation right now. Therefore, I do only have 5% allocation into this token, and I have more aggressive targets in terms of DCAing in. So I think it's a great buy currently at 0.08, and I think it would be great to catch it at 0.06. So somewhere here, we have this level in comparison with these levels as well. I think there is a chance that we might see these prices for this token as well on larger correction in terms of all the gaming crypto and in terms of the market as well. And absolute lows 0.02. I think somewhere during the upcoming year, we might be seeing this token at these numbers as well. So this might be a great time to DCA in terms of this token too. And you should also understand the mindset that I'm following here is that I specifically would want to leave certain chunks of funds to enter at certain entries and certain metrics. And once you have something like this, it removes emotions from investments into crypto. And it's very great because you can FOMO, you can sell at certain prices. You have your entry targets, you have your DCA in targets, and you should also have your DCA out targets when you're taking profits. From my point of view, I'm planning to start to take profit once I see BTC at certain level. So Bitcoin price at a certain level would signalize for me that I should start taking profits in terms of these tokens and in terms of other tokens that I have in my portfolio. Next thing is Arcadiko. So it's interesting that you can see here 100x because Arcadiko, we do only find it on CoinGecko currently because we don't have a chart for Arcadiko on CoinMarketCap. Arcadiko is a lending protocol on Stacks, which is a layer 2 for Bitcoin. And it makes a lot of sense from this point of view because it has a straightforward DeFi connection. And DeFi, if you were here last cycle, you should remember DeFi summer, where a bunch of DeFi projects were pumping up on Ethereum. They added a lot of valuation into Ethereum because of that. An interesting thing with the lending protocols, why they pump, is because people lock up some of the tokens. They get allocation into the stable coins based on the value of the tokens that they locked up. With this allocation, they buy more of this token and they lock up more of this token. Therefore, the token is increasing in terms of the price, so they get more stable coins and they can buy more. And it's essentially a circle where everyone is just pushing the price of the token up. So it's only a 10 million market cap at this stage. It's the ecosystem of Stacks, which is a 2 billion layer 2 finance focused project on Bitcoin. So I think this thing, it can definitely fly. It can definitely be 100x from here. So the allocation of this portfolio is 7.5%. The narrative here is BTC DeFi, which is a very, very bullish narrative by itself. In terms of the entries, I would buy a third currently, a third at the level of 0.25. If you would check, that would be somewhere around here because we basically had a nice correction consolidation here, and a third of the whole thing at the level 0.13. So somewhere here, somewhere at the lows. Once we correct, I think if we would see a longer correction, we can definitely see that levels as well. Next thing is Pepe. Pepe is a meme coin, and you cannot neglect meme coins just because they are a part of crypto market already, and there are definitely gains to be made on the meme coins as well. So in terms of the Pepe, we see a nice correction in the recent several weeks. So I would be entering a third of the position currently. And I also do have level of 0.09 and 0.06. So I just did not enter all of the zeros, but you can understand that currently it's at 11. I would want to essentially buy more at 0.09 because we had a nice essentially level here, and absolute lows 0.06. I think if we would see larger correction on the market, we might be seeing these numbers as well. But Pepe community is just very, very fanatic like. They are pushing that token on Twitter all the time. I'm very, very bullish on this meme and on this token. I think it do very, very well in the next cycle as well. I would say 10x is more on the conservative side here. So it's going to be 5 billion market cap with a 10x. And by the way, check out that a fully diluted market cap is the same as the current market cap, which is very healthy for the project, which means that all the tokens are in circulation. There are no investors that are constantly getting the tokens, diluting the current supply of the whole thing. So I think 10x for Pepe is quite conservative in the bull. That's why I have 10% here. So from 1k here you would be able to make 10k, and I've already shared entry points as well. Last but not least, VPP. VPP is the token that I'm talking a lot about on this channel. And with VPP, what you have gaming narrative, you have Gamblify narrative, you have largest gaming influencer Alex Becker pushing this token and liking this token from his end. They are constantly hosting tournaments, and last cycle they were hosting a bunch of tournaments with celebrities all over crypto industry, and not only crypto, because they were inviting some people from tech, some influencers, some popular guys, stars, and things like that. I do think it might be 100x. However, if you would compare with my Arcadiko position, I have only 5% allocation here instead of 7.5 with Arcadiko, because I think this thing is riskier, and I think that we will see lower numbers in terms of the valuation of VPP with a higher chance that we will see them with Arcadiko. Because Arcadiko is finance, it's tax, it can be picked up pretty nicely, and with VPP's gaming and Gamblify, these type of tokens during the corrections, they can correct a lot. So currently the level is around 0.055. I would definitely be looking to enter at 0.032 in terms of the DC gain, in terms of the position. So these are the lows that we had recently. And best case scenario in terms of the DC gain would be 0.016. That would be somewhere around here. So the token was at these prices at the start of December. So this is my overview in terms of the 10k portfolio. Again, I do not look to make conservative returns in crypto. I look to make proper money on the funds that I'm investing, because these things, they're usually high risks. I think in the full bull, these tokens, they can reach their targets, and it's definitely going to be very, very hard to hold the tokens till 10x, till 25x. Most likely you would be taking profits at certain levels, and most likely you won't be able to catch full like 25x on the token. You would probably take something out on a 5x, on a 10x, on 20x, and things like that. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and see you in the next one.